Hello and welcome to Inland Empire Alive, bringing you issues, events, and perspectives from throughout San Bernardino and Riverside counties. I'm David Brady, and in today's show, I'll welcome back Liddy Gutfeld, the City of San Bernardino's Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, along with muralist Darren Villegas to talk about a beautiful new site for outdoor exercise at Blair Park in San Bernardino. That's today on Inland Empire Alive. Well, the Liddy train has rolled back into the station, and this time I see you've brought a friend. Liddy Gutfeld, welcome back to the program, the City of San Bernardino's Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services.
Thanks for having me back. Excited to be here.
Please introduce our special guest.
I'm so excited to have him on the show today. This is Darren Villegas, and he was such an integral part of making sure that our fitness court over at Blair Park had an art piece represented, and he did a fabulous job, and we're excited to show and share him today.
So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Talk to me about this installation that is now opened a couple months ago at Blair Park.
Yep.
It's a fitness court is the term.
Correct. So I'll take it way back to when it was a grant that started this. And so California Parks and Recreation Society, along with the National Fitness Campaign, came together to provide a $30,000 grant for a fitness court. And these are really unique as to where it's not like fitness equipment, it's a cement block that has multiple areas that you can do different types of exercise on. And the $30,000 was a way for us to be able to start our process in bringing fitness and health options into the city of San Bernardino. They did a study to see where the best location would be as far as freeway friendliness. How could people get off the freeway and find it easily? Blair Park was the selected location. And then on top of that, they gave us an additional $5,000 to be able to find an artist to do the mural. So each of these fitness courts has a 10 by 30 mural on one of the back walls. And then the art is also displayed throughout the entire piece. And we did our call out for artists. We worked with our Arts and Historical Preservation Commission. We had 16 entries from local artists, and we selected the top six. Top six artists came into the commission meeting and presented their art pieces and their concepts. And then Darren was selected, and we were excited in October to be able to have it installed and do our grand opening.
So Darren, talk to me a little bit about what the work of a muralist is like. It's very different from being a painter.
Yes, it is. It's the art of storytelling. Really, you're trying to capture the identity of a space and tell a story of the people and the regular citizens who live in that space and instill some civic pride and hopefully deter some vandalism from happening and brighten up the community. It also attracts local commerce. So it's a win-win for everybody. Talk
to me about this specific piece. So it's a bit of a challenging shape. It's 10 by 30, so it's kind of a rectangle. Was that a challenge in terms of coming up with a composition? Yeah, it was. In summer of 2021, I did a mural that I donated for free to the Enterprise building in the East Street corridor. And that one I just wanted to give as my gift to the city of San Bernardino since I'm from here. And later, when this call for artists happened, we used that same mural and we transposed it to this new surface, but there was some blank space on either side. So then we brought in some graphic design elements to fill out the space and kind of more gear the mural towards the fitness court specifically. As an artist, how important is it to you to represent for art to represent the community that it exists in? Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. Art for art's sake is one thing, but to use your talent to really represent the spirit of the people and the resilience of the city of San Bernardino, it was a true honor. Talk to me about the specific imagery. You had a lot of choices in what you could have put in. How did you narrow down kind of the items that you chose to include? Well,
I think it's important to state part of the call out for the mural was that there were specific elements that had to be put into it, and so it had to represent the culture, it had to represent the history, but it also had to kind of represent moving forward and a lot of color, right? And so Yeah, that vibrancy and the color choices, I really wanted to just capture the spirit of
hope and resilience, especially because our city has been through so much. But yeah, we definitely pinpointed a lot of the iconic imagery from the city, a lot of large structures and larger institutions representing the history of the economics of the city as well, and the natural beauty as well. And we definitely want to include our Native American history as well. And looking forward into the future with things like references to the airport and paying recognition to our history with the National Orange Show as well, and the railroad industry.
So Liddy, talk to me a little bit about the importance of public art. That you said this wasn't just, we installed some fitness gear and said, have at it. It was important to you to beautify it. It was important that it serve a purpose beyond just fitness equipment.
Anytime you are looking at rebuilding a city that has had so much trauma and so much hurt, the only thing that ever comes out on top is art. And I think this was just an opportunity for us to really dive into how the public would react to such a bright piece. If you visit it, you can't miss it. It's very, very large and it's very bright, but the community has just wrapped its arms around it. The community associations have come out, they do fitness challenges, and so it was really the first time that this city has ever seen art and fitness combined, and I think it kind of made us go into a trajectory of, okay, what else can we do? And so we're constantly going out for art grants now to be able to beautify the city. So we're looking at things as every time we start to either do a renovation or a rebuild, we always are going to have an artistic piece to it. San Bernardino's history is great. There's a lot of historic art that can come through this city and be reborn again. I think what we have to do though, and we were just having this conversation, is we have to redirect some of that negative attention and perception to what some of the art is in the city. And so we've really started to do that. You can look through even our utility boxes. We've started to paint our utility boxes, and it might seem silly, but so much positive attention has been generated from that. And so we're starting to see the public cry out for more art. And I think that's just going to be a drive and a catapult for us to continue to do more.
Darren, you grew up here.
Yeah.
So how has the community changed in terms of that perception of there being visible public art, the accessibility of public art? I mean, it must be different from when you were a child.
It definitely is. I think I grew up mostly in the 80s. I was born in 1978, not to date myself, but I think that you see a lot more muralism now in popular society in general in our country, and it's grown to be accepted. I think that in the 80s and 90s, just the medium of a spray paint can was a little bit criminalized, or there was some taboo surrounding it. But I think that now the general consciousness of the people has grown to understand that it's just another tool, just like you can use a brush or an airbrush or a roller or whatever. It's just another tool. And, it's a tool that's really accessible, and I think that it's kind of the champion of the youth art movement. Yeah. And it really, it's very inclusive, the style of art, street art, and, it really does brighten communities and gives a lot of hope where there might be some blight or some darkness. We can shine a light in those areas.
As you sort of travel through your day and you're looking through the city, is there anything you can't put a mural on?
Very few surfaces cannot have murals. Yeah, I'm kind of like the Terminator eye, like scanning everything, just like a skateboarder might look at certain things and they're like, oh, I can do a trick off of that. I'm constantly looking at surfaces and I'm like.
Well, let me ask you though, from a technical standpoint, what are some of those challenges that is exposed to a lot of sun and UV, and what do you have to do to make art like that last?
You just have to know what you're doing, and that comes with experience. You have to know your products, you have to know how to coat things and how to primer walls correctly and get their surface area prepped. And then, the biggest challenge right now is just getting everyone on board on the local government levels, getting everyone to realize the value of this artwork and how it truly does uplift communities, not just visually, but economically. There's study after study that show that where murals exist, the economy thrives. We live in a selfie generation now, so there's no running from the future. We have to embrace it and direct it into a positive direction.
Well, for both of you, what is it like to be able to stand in Blair Park and watch people experience this art, experience the fitness court. It's not just hanging on a wall in a museum, locked away, I have to pay a fee, there's a little docent standing there, that I can stand there and see the impact it has right there.
Well, I can tell you, I go and I scope out all of my parks, anything that's got art, and this one by far is the one where I call it the touch art, because people, it's there. You can walk up to it and touch it, and you see kids of all ages. You see the skaters who would have never even delved into looking at it, now walking over it, and they do kind of a pre-warm-up before their skate session in the fitness court, but they're always talking about the art. And the other thing that we talk about all the time too is there's a respect that goes with this art. He's from this area, he's from the city. You know, he grew up doing art in the city, and so you have people who might want to do graffiti art but haven't touched it. They respect the space, and I think that brings a whole new conversation of how we can bring art like this into the forefront to let youth make better decisions and have an opportunity to see a skill grow in a positive light.
For you?
Yeah, you know, I just feel so inspired to know that mural exists in that space. You know, I attended Shannon Hills Junior High, which is just on the other side of the mountain from Blair Park, so I was at Blair Park as a young person, and I just hope that the mural inspires a new generation to follow their passions in the arts. And if they can look at me as somebody who came from the same environment that they came from, and I turned it into a career and a business and something that contributes back to society in a very positive way, then they can as well. And you know, I'm very accessible, so if anybody, any youth want to reach out to me, I can absolutely help guide them in the right direction.
So we should give a shout out to Mass Murals.
Hey,
that's your
thanks.
organization. It's
Yes,
massmurals.art.
.art, yes.
Okay, and Liddy, where can people go to find out all the great things that are happening in the city of San Bernardino's parks and recreation?
Our social media, SB City Parks and Rec.
And finally, I want to make sure we let people know where Blair Park is. It is 1466 West Marshall Boulevard, right here in the city of San Bernardino.
That's correct.
Go check it out. 7 stations where you can get fit, a fantastic 10 by 30 mural. Tell me something else that's happening in the future.
Oh my gosh, we have so much going on. We're very excited. We just had $1.4 million awarded to us from Congressman Pete Aguilar. So we're going to be fixing up the Roosevelt Bowl, bringing more theatrical arts to San Bernardino. So that's going to be coming up in the next year. And then we're very excited about our project over at the pool, the Jerry Lewis Swim Center. We had heaters installed. So for the first time in San Bernardino history, we'll have warm water in our pools, and we'll be able to teach kids how to swim and have more access and more equity. So,
well, you have got to come back and talk about it some
Yes.
more. The Liddy train rolls on. Thank you so much for being here. And
Thank
Darren,
you.
thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for what you do in the community.
Thank you very much.
If you'd like to be a guest on Inland Empire Alive, email us at guest@iealive.com.